this entire trip, so it was not my issue, not my problem. But a lot of things that the people would do in Israel is they just bust a U-turn when they had to bust a U-turn. You'd see trucks doing this, you know, motorized pedestrians, bikes, cars, all kinds of things, just making this turnaround, just like, oh, time to turn around, and, you know, just stopping all kinds of traffic. I know in America, that kind of thing is like looked down upon, especially since this 18-wheeler accident where the guy from, I'm not sure where he's from, but he just bust this U-turn when he had to, just like in other places. But in this case, someone ran right into the back, because that type of behavior is not typical for the United States. There's certain places you can make left turns, protected U-turns, things like that. But in Israel, man, any time is a good time for a U-turn, you know, especially if you're on like a residential type of street, maybe like a, you know, 15-kilometer mile an hour. It wouldn't be a mile an hour, but it would be a kilometer, you know, type of situation. But I was impressed with their U-turn skills, and the person I was driving with, by the end of the trip, he was busting U-turns either which way, just to go the direction where he wanted to go. You know, it's not too late to correct when you're going a certain direction. The other thing I was impressed about were the scooters and the motorcycles. Like, these guys are driving on the wrong side of the road, or maybe it was the right side of the road for them. It depends on who you are and where you're from, right? And they would just be going, passing on the right side of cars, which in America is totally no-no. They're just like, you know, just like around. I'm like, you guys are delivering food, but is delivering the food worth it? Is it worth that much? Is it worth your life to do that? But these guys are such skilled drivers. It reminds me of that commercial from back in the early 2000s where they had the people push the button for an exciting life or something like that. The people would push the button and some stunt drivers would come out, stunt motorcyclists would come out, they'd do some like drifting action and do this type of thing. That's what this situation reminds me of. Just the driving. I'm not going to call it crazy. I'm going to call their driving very efficient. I believe it was very efficient, because if you're on the highway and you are parked in the left lane, like people love to do over here in the United States, just parked in the left lane, you know, what you're supposed to do is go over to the right side, bear to the right side of the road, and allow the other cars to pass you on the left side, because that is safer over here, all right? And if you park yourself on the left side of the road in Israel, you'll get the flashing of lights. You'll get people beeping their horns. You'll get people speeding past you. There's this one time when I was with my driver and he was in the left lane, parked there. I ain't moving for nobody, right? And this person that I thought was in a Rari, which I later understood to be a Skyline, I want to say a R34, I was like, man, this is absolutely outstanding to see this car over here. But the car was frustrated and upset that my driver wasn't getting over for nothing, right? So in that way, I think they're more efficient, because people automatically, they'll get over to the right. I didn't see anyone parked over there in the left lane just doing whatever, like do. They'll get over, let you go through. And it's so efficient that when there's a queue for a checkpoint or something like that, people will do the zipper to get in there. And if you're not on top of it, if you're not as experienced or you're not aggressive about it, people will pass you. We were like second or third in line for the queue for this checkpoint coming out of the west gate, and this car passes us on the left side in the queue, my friend. Now, I don't know what kind of car has the orange wigwag lights on top. You know those old police lights where they like slap it on top and it kind of has like the orange light. I don't know what that was, because the car was not properly, you know, labeled on the outside. Of course, I don't read Hebrew. It may have been perfectly labeled on the outside. Everyone else that speaks Hebrew or Arabic, they're like, I know exactly what that is. That's undercover EMS services. That is emergency medical services right there when they slap that thing on top. But I don't know what it was, but they passed in front and the lady was kind of like doing the lady was in the driver, there was a guy driving, the lady in the passenger seat, but she kind of gave this look like, thank you for letting us pass. But we didn't let her pass. Another thing that's interesting is over there seem to be a lot more hitchhikers. They probably called it hitchhikers over there, but instead of putting the thumb up, they do like the two, almost like the two down for the motorcycles. You kind of throw that up when you're, you know, they kind of do something like this, point at the ground for the hitchhikers, which I thought was interesting. When we first came there, I want to say it was the first daytime, sun is up, saw a hitchhiker, and it was a lady. I was like, hold up, let's let's turn around and do this, but we didn't pick up any hitchhikers this time. Maybe next time we'll pick up hitchhikers. So yeah, I liked how the motorcycles and scooters drove very aggressively. They got it done very efficiently. A lot of the cars coming through. And I will say that the people outside of the cars are friendly. They are nice. They are loving. You get someone in a car in traffic in Israel, boy, I tell you what. I tell you what. Still nice, right? They will stop for pedestrians. But if you want to get in the road for road rage over there in Israel, don't do it. It will not work out for you. I'd say a good majority of the population, especially when you're in Israel, they open carry them things. When I say them things, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They open carry them things. So much so that I saw this mother with baby, and she had one of them things on it with that banana clip on her with the 15 rounds. Two of them things. And I wanted to take a picture with them, but I don't know how kindly they take to someone just coming up, running up on them like, hey, can I get a picture with you? Can I get a picture with your thing on you? But once I was in the old city, I was asking people left and right for stuff like that. I'm also impressed that though the streets of Old Jerusalem are narrow, you still see these, tractor-looking things. You still see the scooters going down these old stone steps and stuff. I'm like, this is impressive. And the city's kind of designed for that, because on one side somewhere they may have steps, but on the other side they have this kind of ramp that you can go up and down. So they can collect trash efficiently throughout the city. I loved something that struck me very, very, it was just like, wow, this is different from America, is you go on the highways and byways, and for the most part, they are very clean. Very clean. It's like, where's the trash? Where's the pollution? Where are the, alligator strips, those tires that are all over? It seemed very clean over there. Of course, in certain places you'd have, dead animals, which in America seem to be taken up very quickly unless, the cars mash them into the ground and make a paste out of them. But yeah, for almost a week, there was this like spotted dog that was just in the intersection underneath this bridge they're building around Nazareth. And it was just like, there's a dog, it's like just chilling there. I'm like, okay, so we're not going to clean this up. And then I was happy to say that like 3 weeks later, I saw that the residue of the dog was still there, but the dog was removed. I don't know if something got to it, something ate it, or if they have people for that right there. I will say over here, there's a lot of train action, but they only go to certain places, but I think they are expanding the train line, which is nice for the transportation situation. And Nazareth, it seemed like every 5 minutes there was a new bus coming, and if you looked hard enough through the tent, you maybe saw 4 people. If you didn't see 4 people, it was probably 2 people, the bus driver and one other person. I was like, these guys got it made. Although I wasn't bold or courageous enough to take the buses, because you never know what's going to happen on the buses. Between scammers, people that need something from you, or people that want to take something from you. But yeah, I saw the trains and they almost looked ashy or musty or something. You know how you look at these trains and it's like they haven't been washed in a couple years? But of course, you leave a car out there in the desert and stuff, after a little bit of time, it just has a layer of dust on it. And they don't seem to have a lot of either trash trucks that were visible to me or tow trucks, because you'd see in a parking lot where it's like pay to play, pay to park, supposedly, and then you have a car that has like a layer of dust on it. It's almost like when I went to Six Flags in California, and they have those Jurassic Park type of cars from the movie, and they're like props from the movie. They're so dusty because they've been there for years, just chilling, right? So yeah, that type of thing was kind of cool, seeing these new cars. Oh, that's another thing. In Israel, it seems like most of the people there drive late model cars, new cars. I saw a Maserati over there. I saw Skodas. I saw Megans. I saw Citroens. I saw like Mini Coopers, Corvettes, Challengers. Did I see a Charger? I saw like a Chevy truck, all kinds of like American vehicles, and also other types of vehicles as well. Of course, Kias and and Toyotas and things like that. I love seeing the Range Rovers and Land Cruisers. Those are always a treat. But yeah, driving over there is an excursion. I'm glad I didn't drive because I didn't want to pay for nothing. It's very easy to scrape people's mirrors and side fenders, especially the way people are driving over there. People drive like fish, right? Schools of fish, they're like doing what they have to do. But if you're driving differently and you're not from there, it may be easier or more likely that you'll scrape paint or, exchange paint with someone else. But driving over there was quite the experience, and the roads themselves seem to be a little bit steeper, 3% grades, 2% grades, and, various people, dogs, various animals, cats and stuff walking on the road. And those people on those scooters, come on guys, we need helmets or something. Electric bikes and scooters, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to take a chill pill.